specific: clean, green, and healthy. But unfortunately, some people misconstrued that to him being mad, or perhaps him, practicing some sort of witchcraft or something. Okay, so it had to take him changing the mindset of those people to understand that no, what he's doing is preventing the outbreak of cholera. And when he came here in Lusaka, he's continued with the same project. And at this stage where he is, he's even now working on, starting up a youth organization with other young, passionate people who will be joining us later on the breakfast show today, talking about keeping our environment clean. Now, this one is coming from a genesis of what happened last weekend, where it had to take the second highest office of the land to initiate us cleaning our city. Martin.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
At least I know there is corona, but I can shake your hand. At least it's been some time.
My pleasure, my brother. My pleasure to see you.
How have you been?
Well, I've been okay. We are pushing.
I even thought you had gone back to.
No, my brother. We have come to stay.
I didn't know that you're still in Lusaka,
We've come to stay in Lusaka moon.
Wasenda kopala maileta Lusaka.
Chapwa. Njala ndama kitwati na munu mwine tuwa isa muku ikala.
Chika mwana kwa timulele kopala yonse feiresa fe muno. Kwani shefi bonse. Walisa mkulo mshikuno queen.
Exactly.
How have you been?
Well, I've been okay. Trying to push, and at the end of the day, just to see also our Zambia clean. That's my area of interest.
Great.
Exactly.
When I was having that conversation the other day, you told me about a certain projects that you're doing in helping keep Lusaka clean.
Oh, yes.
What is that project about, first of all? Maybe just in a nutshell.
Oh yeah. If you have seen, we have a challenge with the cleaning of our environments, more especially town center in Lusaka. And it's very much good that even it had to take the vice president's office to come in town and start cleaning. Yeah, doing the demonstration and everything. So I was also engaged by the DMMU, who has actually come up with a program for Keep Lusaka Clean, which is very good, with a group of 150 youths as well as elderly people. Yeah, so what we really need to see at the end of the day is to see a clean Lusaka. But I'm telling you, my brother, there's been also challenges. But what we really want, or what the DMMU also want, is to see a clean Lusaka. And it is also my pleasure that they had to engage me as the Keep Zambia Clean activist. Yeah, sure.
Great, great. Just generally, from the last time that we had that conversation, you and I here, when you came through to share,
exactly
that sad story, sad, exciting story.
I tell you,
up to date. What have you observed about, just generally, people's attitude, behavior in terms of keeping our environment clean? What have you observed?
Apart from being a Keep Zambia Clean activist, I'm also a philosopher. And in philosophy, I learned mostly about the environmental ethics of being responsible to our own environment, and how we should take care of our environment for our present needs as well as the needs of the future generation. So we can actually call this as a intergeneration equity, which actually literally means that being fair for our present at the moment, our present as well as the future. So I've come to understand that we are doing injustice to the environment of our own. In as much as we have a lot of people who are talking about street vendors, who are talking about keep Lusaka clean, but we are not really doing much. And there are a lot of challenges, and these challenges cannot be solved by one individual, but it calls for all stakeholders, for all individuals to put our heads together in order for us to see a clean Zambia. Otherwise, there's been a lot of challenges that I'm facing. Sometimes they could even chase you by the local authorities. No, go back. You need to come with a payment here. You go there securing the payment so that they could engage you, but they are nowhere to be seen. You take the letter there. The following day, you go there to just make the follow-up. You find that no, the letter has been stolen, or the letter we don't know, it has been misplaced. So there is also a need from the local authorities as well as we citizens, because it is a responsibility of every citizen to take good care of the environment. Otherwise, we are doing justice to the environment.
So despite all those challenges that you guys have been encountering, how have you managed really to get underway and, of course, get your project going?
Well, there is a saying which says, I would quote John Cena, who says, never give up. Yes, don't give up. Don't give up. In as much as there's been challenges here and there, but the most important thing is to go on the ground, work, And at the end of the day, people will definitely change their mindset. This time around, my brother, it's not about cleaning the city. It's not about cleaning the environment, but it's about changing people's mentality, changing people's mindset where garbage collection is also concerned, or where littering around is also concerned.
It's sure perfect sana chinshi when it comes to us being responsible citizens, when it comes to, waste management. Because, this is becoming, it's like there's something that really blocks progress when it comes to waste management in Zambia. And by the way, Zambia is rated as one of the most educated countries because most Zambians are highly educated.
Exactly true.
But Lusaka is the dirtiest in Zambia. Sorry to say that, but it's the dirtiest in Zambia. You can't compare Lusaka to Choma. Those who have gone to Choma, they will agree with me. You can't compare Lusaka to Livingstone. Those who have been to Livingstone, they will agree with me. You can't even compare Lusaka to Kitwe, a mine town, which is supposed to be dirty because that's where mine is taking place. Now imagine if we were to shift mine to Lusaka. I don't know how we can even manage to manage, waste coming from the mines. What do you think is the biggest problem that Lusaka has?
So the biggest problem that I've seen just from the ground there, I've interacted with a lot of street vendors, a lot of junkies, even these street kids. What the main problem that I've just come to encounter is that when those people, street vendors, they are sweeping their trash, they just put them at the shop door store there, waiting for council workers to come and clean.
Is that not the job of the council to come and remove that
trash?
Of
course, that's the job of the council to go and remove the trash, but you don't have to expose your trash anyhow. You need at least to have a bin, so that even when you sweep, you put everything in your bin. So now imagine you sweep and then you just expose your dates outside there. So what is going to happen? It will be all over. So that's the main problem. And then the other problem that I've just come to understand, you've seen Freedom Way. Even today, in the morning we are cleaning Freedom Way. As I was passing through Kuma 12 hours, I had found heaps of trash. What they do is
Kuma 12.
Yes, Kuma 12. We are cleaning 9 hours. We are passing through now. Even Chimoto Kachitraki passing through. I'm sure even the guys Prime TV could bear me witness because they also came in times of Zambia. We are cleaning in the morning. Kuma 9 hours. We cleaned from Lima Tower, Freedom Way that side. Lima Tower along Freedom Way up to Mount Meru that side. As I was passing through Kuma 12 hours, I had found heaps of trash. So now I came to understand that these people sometimes, they keep their bins inside the shops. They wait for it to be full and then they give to Makaponyo, to Mateni Kwasha to go and throw. And then those guys, they've got nowhere to throw the trash. What do? They throw Ma Highland, Ma Freedom Way there. So those trash you see, even in the Bakanso, I'm sure they are tired because each and every time they sweep, but by the end of the day, it will be heaps of trash. So what they do, even these people, street vendors, when they sweep, they go and throw pile and padia. And I'm sure maybe if we were to put my bins, but also the other challenge is that even when you put my bins there, they're being stolen. So this is why I was talking about people's mindset. These are the people who are not yet sensitized about the dangers of having a dirty environment. Of course, what they know, the only thing that they know is to make money. But they forget that there is cholera. When cholera comes, it doesn't care about money. It doesn't care how much millions you have made. What will happen, you will reach a point whereby the government will run out of money because all the money that they have, they will be channeled to cholera, pandemic, and medicine and whatever. And what is going to happen? It will be a very bad on our generation.
Obviously, the last 2 years has been 2 years ago. I think will go down as one of the saddest periods in the history of this country. We lost more than 3,500 people from cholera. That was in 2019, 2020, actually 2020 October, somewhere there. And the outbreak of COVID gave us, a room to improve on our sanitation because we had, the same principles that work in preventing the spread of cholera, also working in the prevention of COVID-19, washing our hands, sanitizing, avoiding public places, blah, 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 blah. And we practiced them so well to the point that they worked. There was no cholera in the last 2 years. But alas, the end of 2019, the end of 2022, we just used to hear of cholera in Malawi. By this year, last week, it was confirmed Vubwi had cholera outbreak, and of course, one person died. Government jumped and said, let us clean the city. Do we always have to react?
I'm sure I've just come to understand a certain concept. We Zambians, we really want each and every time to be beaten in order for us to respond to the needs of the government or to the needs of whatever public concern may come. And if that enacted law which has been there, whoever is throwing litter can be arrested. If it were to be reinforced, I'm sure we can go far as a country. But as it is, we just clean and there is nothing like which is being passed, no concern. Mdara, tapade for today.
But do you think government is doing enough to ensure that, we improve on our mindset? Like you mentioned, it's all about mindset change. Do you think government is really doing enough in this particular aspect?
Wow. The government, they're doing enough. I would say they're doing enough. In as much as they are relaxed in one way or the other, but they're doing enough. But just we people. The only thing that we want is to see the vendors out of the towns. Maybe that's when they will say, okay, now at least we have seen a clean city. But it's not about the story of the vendors, the story of what is the story of another day. What we need at the moment, what we want to see, or what we are concerned as citizens is the health of everybody in
but
the country.
Don't you think the getting rid of vendors is a first step towards keeping our environment clean? Because much of the West, for instance, town. Can you say it's Nelson who moved with trash from home? Town.
No, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, we caught a certain guy. He came from New Soweto. You've seen where New Soweto is, huh?
Yeah.
With 3 bags of trash. He came to throw it Pile and More Freedom way. And these people are not street vendors. They are coming from the shops. So some of the things, it's not street vendors who do that, but also people. Now the blame is on what? On street vendors. And then when we talk about this, the issue of street vendors, myself, I understand 2 concepts on that. There's one concept is for healthy, sanity in the city. Then the other concept is economy. When you talk about economic concept, we are talking about where are these people going to be? How many markets do we have? Is the market going to accommodate anyone? Are they going to be making money the way they are making at the moment? Then the other concept is about health. In as much as we let these people be in these streets, what are we going to gain at the end of the day? If cholera were to break out in Lusaka, how many people are going to be saved? So I'm sure even a politician now there can differentiate which is important. I'm not going to talk about that. Which one is important between economy and health? Yes.
All right, so these guys have actually taken up the initiative to keep Lusaka clean, green, and of course healthy. They joined the Republican president in cleaning the town, and they decided to go beyond just to ensure that, Lusaka is clean. And of course, we remove some of these, waste that are a potential time bomb when it comes to the outbreak of cholera. Let us just take a look at some of the clips that we're able to generate as the guys were doing this work. Remember, it's a responsibility of every citizen really to get involved in keeping our environment clean, green, and healthy.
No freedom way.
Entra bastante.
Dragi jaenda.
Yafuma.
Uma plastic yang harus cuci.
Voice. Kama kampani nataka kwa mashops bale ile tandu madoti. Tafunika kubauza kila babwele pamoja. Tutaka check clean.
Amashina yenu.
Ine David.
So ama challenges and mule facing about the ma challenges yashana.
Ama vidoti check. Nika check clean. Vidoti basi samusa.
Okay. Yeah.
Sina yanga nina budget yangu. Wagali Nkombo chameti kupekana. Ma street kids wa chose ni street. Ma street kids wavuta kunya. Mtundo maboti. Na wewe aba ma street vendors yaba. Tikasiriza cheko pyanga, tikakomboka. Usiku wangena futu amba kutaila. So tipasa ni zembambo abantu. Isechalema nao. Chalema nao kama amena ma vendors na ma street kids. Hao Wagali Nkombo ikanko ninze. Kama restaurant ya wauzapenda vimalasha wataya, vinsima wataya. Wangene leni ma restaurant humu. Ngati ni kuwavalila Wagali wavalile ni kulibaza kuplemani kulibe. Chufuka doti mtauni ya Chilamu. Ni capital city. Capital city kaziwoneka doti. No. Sikaziwoneka doti capital city. Wagali Nkombo sambela chifundo, sambela muntu chifundo Wagali. Sebenzali nchito yani Wagali. Coding mwamle mfunikira. Waende chabe.
We are here in Saka town to do overall cleaning. As you can see, our seat is too much dirty. So please people, we are here to engage you, work as a team. And moreover, a sanity city is a city of welcoming everybody. So we want to involve all the citizens in Zambia to have the mindset of cleaning wherever you are, wherever you see where there's dirt. Please, it's your duty, it's our duty to take charge of this garbage we are seeing in town. This garbage which we are seeing in town is just negligence of us people who are here, we can't understand about the garbage. So because when we leave this garbage like this, it is costly to the government. So it is our duty as a citizen of Zambia to take charge of this issue. So starting from today, we are emphasizing to everyone, everyone who is in town, everyone who at home, to come and make sure that we live a clean city. Lusaka, it's called a garden city. we want to revamp this to be a garden city. Since it was called in our father's regime to say it's a garden city. So as youths in Lusaka, we are here to say we can do it again. So we have taken a step now to say that we should clean our city. Starting from today, there is this team you can see behind me here. And this team is busy making sure to put law and order to say that everyone should obey the screening program which is here in town. So for now, these people, let us call our neighbors and tell them, in the next 10 meters from you, it should be clean. 10 meters from the other side, tell your neighbor that let us be clean, because cleanliness is next to godliness. So wherever you are, please people, let us make sure that we keep our environment clean so that we live a green life. And I'm telling you, as we are here in town, we will make sure that the city will remain clean. As the Vice President ensured the Zambians to say we want to be a clean environment. As we can see now, there's a cholera outbreak. This cholera outbreak is coming for us. So when we are not clean enough for ourselves, which means we are killing ourselves. We should not leave this dirty, because it's a bad hazard for us. So which means us will get sick. We will lose this popularity we're having in town. We don't want to have cases of cholera going high, because cholera is not good for us. So as we are here in town right now, we are making sure that the city is going to be clean forever, and we promise you people that wherever is going to find one team who is going to commit an offense will be charged according to the law. So because we want to know that this city is clean forever. Okay, thank you.
All right, still talking about environmental issues and of course keeping our environment and our sanitation clean, green, and of course healthy. Mr. Martin is actually my guest on the show today. All right, so let's talk about solutions. Really, how do we begin addressing the issue of sanitation, especially where waste management is concerned and people's poor attitude towards waste?
So the only way we can achieve our goal as a country to see a clean Zambia, a clean Lusaka, a litter-free Zambia, is removing politics in the issue of waste management. Mm-hmm. As far as I'm telling you, we have a lot of politics going on. Just few weeks ago, each and every politician would go on live, speak about the street vendors, speak about debt, and it was very bad. I could see pictures. Just someone from home going to Freedom Way, kudokuya kupama pictures no kuposta pa Facebook at welcome to Zambia, the cleaning, the debt capital city, what and what. That's very sad. If you have seen that we have got a lot of bad things, we have got a lot of trash inside the town, why can't you challenge also the government? Or if you've seen that the government has just sitting doing nothing, why can't you go in town, you clean and tell them to say, this is what you are failing to do? Now, the problem is that we have a lot of politicians who have paid ama youths kuya mkule dumping mu street so that they will say, the government, you are doing nothing. And then, the other thing is that local authorities, they are also sitting. They are not doing enough when it comes to these issues of waste management, the trash and everything. They are not doing enough. They are sitting. I'm saying they are sitting because I've seen what is going on in town. Mm-hmm. Because if they are working, these are the people who are being paid each and every month. These are the people who are supposed to collect garbage each and every day. These are the people who are supposed to sweep the town. But every time the town is dead. The drainages each and every day they are blocked. When we have rains, you find that water is everywhere. The floods everywhere. But we have local authorities who are responsible for that. But they're doing nothing. It is evident that even when you go, that's why even maybe the DMMU has coming. And it's not their work. Of course, the DMMU, they are responsible for disasters. So for DMMU to come through and say, let's help in terms of cleaning, it has become a disaster. It's a public concern. So my call also to the local authorities that put up your socks. Let's work together to see a clean Zambia. And then the other thing, when it comes to the solutions, of course, I have spoken about removing politics, my issues here, garbage collection and everything littering around, removing politics, changing people mindset, sensitization. We need to utilize social media where it comes to sensitization. On this one, I'm just telling the government to say, put more when it comes to sensitization. If it means to pay people each and every time to be going there with the megaphone saying, oh, let's stop littering around, let's keep our environment clean, let's do that. It's better, prevention is better than cure. Abantu bakarwala kolera, there will be a lot of people, and they will spend a lot than the way it is right now. And then, on that one, I would just like to talk about Charles Mwewa. This is the man who has written a book about Zambia, Struggles of My People. He touched more especially on chapter 4. He touched about how these shanties, how the towns are more like neglected when it comes to cleanness. We want to benchmark our country with Rwanda. How do we do that? I'm not going to talk about what the solutions of the book is talking about. Everyone can buy this book. If you are a politician and you have not read what this book is talking about, we can't develop as a country. First and foremost, also, my call to the politicians is that sometimes when you are a councillor, when you are a mayor, when you are a minister of the province of whatever, when you are study politics, it's through that we are going to learn something. It's not just cleaning and doing what, but sometimes it's better to study so that you put in everything into implementations. Sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Exactly.
So according to Charles Mwewa, because obviously you've read the book, right?
I've read them, It has inspired me.
Yeah,
chapter 4.
In chapter 4.
Exactly. Chapter 4.
What did he say exactly?
So,
what was he proposing exactly?
On chapter 4, rural and shanty poverty in Zambia.
Mm-hmm.
In chapter 4, he has spoken more especially about how we need to deal with the street vendors. He says these street vendors, they contribute to the dirtiness of the place, to the dirtiness of the towns. In as much as it's not street vendors who are doing that, but people will go and throw there. What are they going to say? These are street vendors. So the best solution for us to make sure that we see a clean city, we need to remove street vendors in the city.
Street vendors.
Street vendors. That's the first point he has talked about. And he has elaborated more on how we can achieve that.
Okay. But Martin.
Yes.
There is no country in this world that doesn't have street vendors.
No. Rwanda is one of them. Rwanda's got no street vendors.
When you go to Thailand,
mm-hmm.
I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
When you go to China, they even have street markets.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to the UK, go to the United States, it's the same. Why is it that street vending in Zambia, it's a big problem? We see it as a public nuisance, but in other countries, it's a source of income for the country, since there is a levy that those street vendors usually pay. Mm-hmm. Why is it that here in Zambia, it seems to be a very, very huge problem?
You're asking me difficult questions, but like I said, I gave two concepts. Economy as well as health.
Mm-hmm.
No, so now, you need first to be very strategic. You can't compare Zambia to China. No. In the end, you can't.
So what's the problem? Because street vending is street vending, whether it's in China or it's in Zambia. Street vending is street vending.
First, you should also see the structure of your market.
So Zambia lacks proper structures for street vending.
We don't have a proper structure.
So because obviously when you're talking about street vending and those people, maybe the first thing that you're going to be thinking about is abanyashana abantu basundira kwesha.
That's a very good. You know what I found today? Natsanga amafifie mu musebufe bwino.
So mashira kusa.
Twachira kusa. Of course, what can we do? So those are the things. That's what I'm saying. It's very different. Street vendors in China, street vendors in Zambia, it's very different.
Okay.
Yes. So that one, how we can't compare. It's more like we are comparing, ululu sapato mfwede na kasanda katu kwacha. There's a difference. Or you are comparing Makitu to Chila's Po. No, there is a difference.
But of all the people, why Makitu?
No, he's a powerful musician in Zambia, of course. Even if your star knows that one, we can tell you. Even if your star knows. So we can't compare Chila's Po, the young Chila's Po, to Mark II, MK, aka Mark II Mupon.
But don't you think Zambia has got more potential to to benefit from
before
street
you
vending.
even go go there. Let me tell you one thing. Zambia, I know where you want to go.
Okay, where do I want to go? Kutika question and first. Kutika question and don't you think Zambia is an impoverished country? Okay, currently the economy is not working well. Don't you think if we were to manage our street vendors well, okay, if we were to manage our street vendors well, whereby to abika konaka some sort of a levy, abantu aba balipira a certain amount, then the council procures through the CDF, they procure movable toilets to Asabika. Don't you think we can be able to benefit from street vendors? We'll be able to get something from what they sell. Don't you think so?
You know, as Zambians, we are, I would say, we like babysitting.
Okay.
When the government is going to say you'll be paying levy, you just said pali bora bet pali aba bikire ku cafe atimile pira ku cafe kalo kuli bora bet. What did they say? It will be the talk of the day. And Zambia is also a landlocked country. We don't have sea like abambi kwa Tama Ocean where they go and throw ama trash, litter and anything. If we have kuchunga, you know how chunga is looking now. You've seen chunga the way it is looking. If confident from town, now you've seen if you will continue like that in the next 20 years, I'm speaking as an activist. In the next 20 years, that's what is going to happen.
So number Martin, what is your proposition in terms of that waste that is generated every day in town? So
what we need, since Zambia is a landlocked country, the government should come up with a proper and the company to do with recycling.
Okay.
Yes. We have, of course, recycling companies, but they are not that much. More especially here in Lusaka, we need to have a proper recycling company. Have you seen scraps? This time, can you see a scrap when pants? You can't. Scrap wakati na musange chela panse chilifi kwa bulonango humo. They have taken already. So if we are going to have a proper recycling company, that anama bins yonsela tatu wakali asanga bantu wakala kusaba kali ya mukutwala kwa koti wale bapera ko lwakushita mubunga nganyilola ifufine barandire ba vice president.
No, don't go there.
So that's what is going to happen. So if we are going to have a proper recycling company in Zambia, more especially in Lusaka, they even call for people to say, if you have any trash, you have to take a bag of whatever plastics, bring here. My brother, we are going to, it's a one time, we are done with that.
But okay, Mulusaka watu mwena mwaya, especially Mulusaka. Well, Martin, thank you so much. Really,
thank you so much.
I always enjoy really talking to you.
Exactly,
and,
but
please always be available. Always.
Exactly.
I think this time around, 2023, the president said it's a year of action.
Exactly.
I want to see more action, especially where waste management is concerned.
Yes.
Exactly.
Just like abapondo baranda pokwe, but sometimes kutala wabombesha ndera ndakubera Makitu. He always talk about working hard. That's what Makitu always believes in. So even we as youths out there, let's not leave public concern that we have, we are trash and everything. Women we have a government. Let's also show some work. Just like also each and every time Meno Chirufia, this one Cheratukuta always speak about. Let your work show to people that you are doing something. Not to kulela the field the camera doing them down. If you come Lusaka, also try to do something as a youth, as a concerned citizen. And above all, I'm just talking. And above all, to lead the politics so that we implement our country the way we may want it to be. Thank you so much, Zambians. Let's move together so that we may see a clean Zambia, a clean environment, so that we benefit something. We are doing injustice to the environment. And what is the environment going to do to you? Later on, it will also respond in a bad way that you won't even like it. So please, let's get concerned of whatever we see.
So this one is actually coming from a genesis of, what took place over the weekend, where Republican president, together with other government officials and Zambians, had to come through just to come and clean Lusaka town. Now, the saddest part about it is that one is a CBD, Central Business District. So now the Central Business District is actually controlled by the council. So now when I saw that, I started raising a lot of questions. Where is the council? What does the council do on a daily basis to allow that trash that we saw along, that pavement? I think that should be, in Freedom Way.
Yes,